Long, long ago, before kingdoms, beasts, or even stars in the heavens, there was quiet. Not a hollow type of quiet, a waiting type of quiet, a quiet that was ready to become something greater. And then came the three kings. But they were not war and gold kings, they were creation kings. They each possesses the power of earth, one of spirit, and one of time. They built a world together, named Aeoina, a world of balance, of magic, and of wild beauty. When they completed their grand creation, they made a vow, an oath bound by ancient magic. If ever Aeonia falls into decay, we will come back, not as monarchs, but as guardians. And they did not stay to rule. They left, vanishing into the fabric of the world. But first, they constructed a final guardian, a man not of fire nor stone, but of intent. They called him the Wanderer. He was fated to live life upon life, ever walking, ever remembering. When destiny's time arrived, when shadows stirred, he'd return, and he'd lead the defenders Aeonia most needed. He still walks today. They say he passes through towns unseen. They say he stands at the edge of every storm. But just as the Wanderer was driven to return, so too, something else. Out of the dark space between the stars, a creature without pity, but intention. He was Endurus the Unmaker, not begotten of hatred, but of unraveling. Where the three kings built, Endurus unbuilt. Where songs sang in consonants, he created silence. He was not evil, as humanity understands. He was simply what could not be bypassed, a counterpoint to creation. And though he may be pushed back, he could never be undone. And sometimes, he won. When they made the Wanderer, the three kings went on to craft 6 great ones to help keep the earth in balance. Not forests, not people, but the framework of the world itself. These were the world trees. They lifted valleys, they bent rivers, they built mountains with their roots, and summoned oceans with their breath. They were enormous, they were wise, and they were alive. Under their care, Aeonia grew huge, wild, uncontrolled. But the stillness was shattered. Endurus returned as a man shrouded in charm and peace, and at his touch, the world trees perished, one after another. Aeonia fell into its age of darkness, but even darkness stirs to destiny. The Wanderer, reborn once more again, called forth 3 souls not of noble blood, but of deep purpose. They were chosen not by blood, but by balance, and with them, they rose. They fought together. The resulting battle would be the first impact. Skies were ripped apart, rivers ran backward, the earth itself remembered the war. And though Endurus was again pushed back, the wounds never closed. Aeonia survived, but time did not cease. The world grew and fell time and again. And then the wizard came. He was not evil, not heartless, only hungry for knowledge, for magic, for power unending. He found something that no one was brave enough to touch, a source of mana too, powerful for any human to possess. And so it consumed him. Where he passed away, the earth cracked and throbbed with light. That place is now called the Lake of Radiance, a shining gash of intempered magic. When the lake was formed, magic flooded the world. Since that day, every child born in Aeonia had a spark inside him or her. Some thrived, others were not able to rouse it from sleep at all. And magic was a gift and a curse. From this broken era, 2 powerful civilizations emerged. The Thundarians, brutal, thunder-bound warriors, experts in storm and steel. They ruled the Valley of Death, where lightning never slept. The Aetherians, refined, wise, and powerful in arcane abilities. They thrived in the Valley of Life, where the earth sparkled with mana. They lived together for a time, but power cannot be shared. Pride turned to revenge, peace turned to fire. There was a war greater than any that had previously existed. And when the dust had settled, the Thundarians were gone, engulfed by the storm they had commanded. The Aetherians stood alone, triumphant, yet broken. Aeonia never recovered. Out of the devastation came King Morvath and Queen Selene, distant monarchs who saw Aeonia's weakness, not as tragedy, but as confirmation. Confirmation that gentleness had failed, that there was only fire. They built their empire upon cruelty and oppression. And then a daughter was born. But when she was born, the fire wasn't in her. She was not what they wanted. To them, she was not a daughter. She was a shame. They lopped off her ears. They banished her. She was meant to die. But fate does not overlook its own. And all along, Aeonia's trees still whisper. Not the world trees, not the trees that were cared for by hand or charm, but the ones begotten by sacrifice. Long ago, the folk of Aeonia had the practice of seed burial. The dying were laid upon their chests with a single seed, so that their spirit could once more ascend, not as ghosts or as warriors, but as trees, wise, silent, tall. Even that ritual was taken over. When they fought the Thundarians, a necromancer tainted the burials, twisting the dead into blades. Even when it was buried again, the magic clung like a stain. From beneath their tombs, a wood curse grew, the bladed forest where roots whisper, where trees bleed. Even now, the land remembers. The wind speaks names long forgotten. The Titan's bones sleep beneath cities. The lake of radiance still glows under moonlight, but the oath remains. The three kings swore they would be back. The wanderer walks on, and Aeonia waits again.